All right. Day 3. Here we are. Yeah. Chipping away. I've realized very quickly, I pretty much realized out of the gate that I definitely need to do a ring light, especially if I'm going to continue to wear hats on here. Just
The
got a
other
big
day,
shadow
in
on my
fact,
face.
today I realized that I need some new hatwear. Actually, um,
Yeah.
I think you were wearing a Lexus one the other day. I think was it Lexus?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I need to get some new caps.
Yeah,
I
I do.
think.
I like all these vintage things. Like I go on eBay and I look at all these vintage hats. Like
Nice.
Lexus is cool because I have an old Lexus that I love, and then I have like all these vintage dog hats. Like found this on eBay as well. It's just some random dog sledding
Yeah, nice,
equipment. Uh,
nice.
yeah. So it's like I love it, man. It's always sunny more than 300 days in the year around here, so I wear it even though I'm
Yeah,
inside. I'm always wearing a hat. So
I was tempted to get a bucket hat, but I'm not sure if I'm cool enough to pull that kind of stuff
if
off.
you're that
So
kind of guy,
yeah, yeah. I might just stay in my lane.
um, yeah, yeah.
You know.
That's that yeah. That's a definitely a very specific look and feel.
Yeah, man, for
All right,
sure.
day 3. What are we
Day
talking
three.
about?
Yeah, today. So today, we're both going to give our predictions in terms of when we think the site, so the austinpoolbuilders.com will rank in Google at certain milestones. So we're going to give our predictions on what we think that'll look like and when we're measuring that from. And then we'll just chat through what we think that's going to look like over the next few months.
All right. Well, before we decide to share our predictions, when are we so considering a day 0, right? Like what is that jump off point in which we are saying we'll start ranking and this spot and that spot and that spot? What is
Yeah.
that? When are we starting that clock?
So the clock day 0 will go from when the moment we submit the site to Search Console. So as soon as we
Okay.
put the site in Search Console and submit it, that's essentially day 0, and then we'll time it from there. So it's a nice, easy to understand point for everyone.
And just in case anybody's wondering why that moment and that action is significant, like why when we submit it to Google Search Console?
Yeah, I mean that's the first time that Google's going to see the site. So we have a particular methodology that we do some stuff before we submit the site to Search Console. So technically, you could say day 0 of the work comes before then. But
Mm-hmm.
for testing and keeping things consistent, it's easiest to measure the time from the day that we submit to Search Console.
Yeah.
So it's just easy for us to keep it in line with everything else that we're doing as well. So if we're comparing it to another site, how quickly it ranks, measuring from that date is the one that we've always done. So yeah, so when
Yep.
we submit it
Yeah,
to Search
exactly. So
Console.
whenever the site gets, essentially we're telling Google to crawl it and index it. We're
Exactly.
counting that moment, even though that
Yeah.
may not happen in that day. We're
Yeah.
still counting that as the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
exactly.
let's jump right in the predictions. Let me
Go
pop
for
up
it.
the screen here. All right. Boom. So we have our little lander page here where we're going to be showcasing everything we do day to day. This section is for our predictions and making it interesting. How are we making it interesting?
Well, I thought we could put a little wager on it between you and I. Whoever gets
Yeah.
closest to, I guess we could. Well, depends how many times we want to put a bet on. But we could just do for position 1 ranking. So whoever is closest, to that number of days wins, and then what shall we say? If you win, I'll send you some cash to take you and your better half out for a steak, and then if I win, you can do the same for me. So you can pay.
All
We'll pay for
right.
each other's date nights.
Yeah,
And
I
as
like
well,
that.
a sitter as well. We'll have to send over some money for a sitter as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that is the caveat. Need someone to watch the
Yeah,
kids. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
All right, so I'll uh I'll run through my predictions, or at least for the top 100. Let's start there. Top 100.
yeah.
I think 100 days, and you have, or maybe I'll just cover both of ours. You have 17 days. I'll kind of give quick reasoning, just
Yeah,
behind some of the logic on that. So, you know, using Ahrefs, which is a big tool that we use outside of actually utilizing Google Search Console, looking at looking at Austin pool builders as our term, we actually don't have like a super easy KD. It's also not
no,
crazy. It's a KD of 30, so keyword difficulty of 30. So it's about in the medium range, the lower end of the medium range. And the big thing for me, and maybe this is the same for you, is looking at the DRs from all the top 10 results, right?
sure,
So the highest one you
right,
have is a 92, which is actually ironically in the 10th place, which is House, massive
right.
site. But you have a couple of 3s and 4s in there. And so I think, based on our historically, I think we could get the DR above a 3 and a 4 fairly
Yeah,
quickly.
before
Within
lunch.
that 2 week, yeah, exactly. Within that 2 week
Yeah,
range, I feel very confident. So, anyways, that's why I
yeah.
think like 2 weeks, maybe a day, plus or minus, is kind of where I'm coming in
Hmm.
at with that.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. 2 weeks or there or thereabouts. We have had a recent one in another vertical going about like 10 days, so it can happen a little quicker. I've
Mm-hmm.
just bought myself a couple of extra days. And then the other reason I went for 17 is just 17 is my lucky number. So I was
Oh,
looking for
yeah,
a
there you
number
go.
within that range, and then I just decided to go for 17. Um,
Yeah, that
so
makes
yes,
sense.
similar timelines, 2 weeks for cracking into the top 100 results.
Yeah, yeah. And then, excuse me, top 20, I have 52 and you have 45. Um, yeah, I think basically, even though that's a large jump, um, just based on the top 10 and even the top 20 of what currently is there, I
Yeah,
it's kind of like an open freeway. I think from once top 100, that means like, okay, Google's at least attaching you to that term. And considering that,
yeah,
ours is to the homepage, which if I look, um, only 1, 2, 3, 4, not counting the local pack, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 out of the 10, or excuse me, 8 out of the 10 actual in the top 10, their home pages rank for that. So the other two are
sure.
actual landing pages going after that. So I think the fact that we're targeting it with the homepage also maybe gives us a little bit of a quicker runway. So that's kind of where I'm thinking for the top 20.
Yeah, 100%. So
52.
homepage really need, well, if there's 8 out of 10 on the first page for homepage, then that's a big sign that it's fairly difficult to rank for that term. And then I've now, so my first timeline was actually behind yours, and now I'm 45 days for this, opposed to your 52, so it's
Yeah.
like a week earlier.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just based on the way that we do this and the process that we follow, yeah, I think we'll get there roughly about 45 days is where I think we'll be able to achieve top 20 results. Um, and then again, just based on previous history, it is a completely different industry and different SERPs. But we've got one that's went not quite top 20, but 22nd with
Mm.
with well way under 45 days. So So yeah, I think about 45 days for top 20,
Yeah, and I
just
guess
based on our
real
process.
yeah, real quickly too, like could you talk through some of the significance of pages ranking or sites ranking their homepage or Google essentially delivering results for a homepage as opposed to a service page or a landing page for that keyword? Like, is it
Yeah.
stronger to rank a homepage? Is that harder? Is it easier to do a landing page? Like, what just kind of why is that a significant factor in all of this?
Mm-hmm. So one of the big differences between an inner page or a service land or whatever you want to call it and a homepage is that more than likely your homepage has more backlinks pointing to it and more referring domains pointing to it. So that page within your website holds more authority over an inner page or a service lander. And then it would be quite obscure for you to have more links to a inner page of your site rather than your homepage. Um, and if it is an inner page that's ranking, it's likely off of a site that's got a high DR. So the
Yeah,
homepage of that site has got a high DR. So it's important to have both a high DR for your site and lots of links pointing to your homepage. Um, and you can build links, I guess, a little bit faster to your homepage as well. And if you do things like press releases, citations, foundational links, all of those things point to your homepage as well, rather than an inner page. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, you're always just going to have more links to your homepage rather than an inner page. Um, so yeah, this is
yeah,
if there's 8 out of 10 results on the first page or homepage, then it's definitely going to be a bit tricky to rank an inner page of your site for this keyword. So for
yeah,
Austin pool builders, it's going to be a little
yeah.
bit tricky. Yeah,
Makes sense. All right, so top 10 days or top 10 search results, 67 days for me, 73 days for you.
yeah,
And so I think really kind of there's not much difference there except just momentum, velocity, and which we'll get into later. So like content velocity and link velocity. I just
yeah,
think based on previous stuff like that we've done, I just feel like that's going to be a very clear path for us again, chopping into those next 10 results and ultimately getting on the first page. So
yeah,
that's kind of no crazy other logic to me besides just like based on, historically, I feel like we can do that in, another 10 to 15 days after hitting top 20.
I think I'll give us 28 days to do that. I think that's the number that I put. So 4 weeks. But you're right.
Yeah.
Content velocity, link velocity, those things are starting to speed up then. So we'll be doing some niche edits, guest posts, and then adding more content to the site. So we're building up internal links to the homepage and then homepage links to sub service pages as well. So yeah, just a content and link velocity part that's happening there that's going to push it
Yeah.
onto the first page essentially. Yeah.
And then from there, the number one spot,
Number
which by
one.
the way, since I'm in Austin, when I look into the local search results, you actually have 3 sponsored links, a map pack. So we're not talking about the map pack here. That's something
No.
to definitely talk about at this point. And then we have all of the actual organic search results. So to get under the map pack right there and under those sponsored links, I think just a hair under 3 months.
Yeah. So it'd be cool to do it in 90 days, right? Just 3 months, like or
Yeah,
89. Yeah, 100%. That would be awesome. So then we're starting
that's
to
my
look at
thinking.
things like CTR. So click through
Yep.
rate once you're on the homepage. Um, so we need to make sure like our title tags are intrusive to people wanting to click through. And then there are other things that we can do to help make that happen a little bit faster. And then the other thing that we've got on our site here as well is the partial match domain, so the
Yeah.
austinpoolbuilders.com. So that essentially is the brand. So
Yes.
if people are looking for Austin Pool Builders and it's associated with the site as a brand, then you would expect it to rank higher as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm what 11, 12 days behind you.
Yeah.
So 101 days. But yeah, I think we're not going to be far away between 89 to 101.
Yeah.
So it's going to be it's going to be close in terms of who's
Yeah.
just that little bit nearer. So
Exactly.
yeah, it could fall 6 days. Could it be a draw? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Um,
CTR become important, and then we'll be doing the same thing. So links to the site, and then adding content as well for internal linking.
all right. So we got our predictions. We've made it interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
In order to wrap this up, what are we going to touch on tomorrow?
So I've got a little surprise for you tomorrow. Um, I was doing a bit
Hmm.
of digging and
Little
researching.
Father's Day
So,
surprise.
little Father's Day surprise. That's it. It's my gift to you, man. Um, uh, so yeah, I'll show you that tomorrow. So
Okay.
it was a good opportunity. So I went ahead and made sure that we got it. So yeah, I'll let you know what it is tomorrow. So it's going to
Okay.
give us another dimension to this exercise as well, um, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I
All
think you'll
right.
like it. I think you'll
Okay.
like it.
So we have a surprise in store for tomorrow. All right.
That's
That
it,
sounds
man.
great. Cool. Predictions are locked in. We're getting closer to getting into even more of the nitty gritty of again that dreaded step one and what we're going to do now that we know our market, now that we've got our domain. We kind of
Yeah,
understand how the search results page looks now. We got our predictions, all that good stuff. So yep, just keep chipping away and we'll tackle it tomorrow.
yeah, man. Nice one. All right, man. I'll see you
Awesome.
tomorrow.